Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel.
Hi, welcome.
So we are going to be giving you a lot of tips and tricks on traveling to France for your very first time.
Yes, and as first timers, we really felt like there was things we wish we had known, and we thought, let's share our experience because somebody could be just like us and wish that they had put this out there.
So this way you guys don't have to worry about maybe not knowing the language very well, places that you should go and stay, or maybe touristy spots that you should skip out on. So let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Let's get started. So let's first start with, why did we decide to go to France?
You know, I always wanted to go to France from a very young age. And
true.
We originally had France on our very first European vacation.
Paris in particular.
Yeah. But we ended up skipping out on that portion. So when we knew that we wanted to go again, Paris was at the top of our list.
It was, but we ended up going somewhere else as our first trip. But anyway, we're here to talk about France.
Yeah.
So we finally got there, and it was more due to me. I was actually very intimidated to go to France due to the language barrier. And even though I had tried to study it and to learn a few phrases or words, I still was very concerned. But it was my research of YouTube that really gave me the confidence to go, realizing that as long as I knew a few words, which are
bonjour, merci, as long as you know how to really greet them, and as long as they see that you're actually really trying, they're going to be really nice to you. Right. I think there is a really big stereotypical kind of French snootiness that us Americans believe.
That we've been told, and it's not true. I mean, we're speaking from the perspective of people who have never traveled. Keep that in mind. We're from the U.S. Yes, we've traveled a few places within the U.S., but never abroad. So, and also I should say, we come from a small town, and even as far as public transportation was going to be something that was going to be very new to us.
Yeah.
But I feel like we really handled it quite well because we did our research ahead of time.
I feel like research is really crucial to any travel that you do.
Yeah.
As long as you know how their public transportation system works and just kind of how you're going to be getting around is really important, just to make your trip very seamless. But I do suggest before you go, that'd be my first tip, is try to learn very simple phrases.
Yes.
So make sure that you know how to say hello. Make sure you know how to say goodbye and thank you.
Thank you is huge.
And also simple ordering. Like, we knew how to order coffees. That was our big thing.
That's what I really let her take over, to learn how to order the coffee that we liked, because if you've done any research, you'll see that they don't serve coffee like what we're used to in America.
Yeah.
You'll just get a shot of espresso, which is good, by the way. I suggest you try it.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who wants a latte or something like that, and we did try an espresso one day, and it was so good, and I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, it was actually very good. The coffee there.
And we'll insert some photos too of a few experiences that we had, and some of the food. Maybe like here, if you look up at one of these spots, we'll show you some of the food that we had while we were there, and it's just so much better than in the U.S., I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm definitely ruined on American coffee now based off European coffee. It's just that much better.
It really was.
Yeah.
So then we should probably talk about maybe initially the transportation. Obviously, flying there was pretty easy if you fly anywhere. But as far as the transportation there, what were our options as far as getting from the airport into Paris?
You have a few options. Obviously, be very leery of taking any taxi cabs, and that's what we heard the most, is that there are a few people who try to pretend to be taxi drivers, and they will get you in, but then demand cash only. And obviously, once you're kind of first coming in, you're not going to have any euros on you. So if you do try or decide to take a taxi, make sure that it is a G7 taxi.
Right. And they should be lined up under a sign.
Yes. Only
specific for only taxis.
Yeah. Another option would be Ubers, which we did take a few Ubers while we were there.
Or I'm going to say the RER. And I want to say, because, again, I'm the one that's always concerned, probably because of my age. But I was worried about taking the RER. But now, hindsight, I think I would take it. I think it'd be fine. Yes, you have to watch out for pickpockets. No, we did not encounter any. It doesn't mean they weren't there. But again, we looked this up. We were on the lookout. We made sure our belongings were in front of us. Crossbody bag, which you should insert pictures here of, like a crossbody bag too. sure people know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't have things on your back where you can't see it.
Yeah.
You know.
And make sure you're being very aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
If people are trying to shove you and push you onto the RER, go ahead and take a step back. Like, don't be in such a rush to get it, because usually that's when you might get yourself into situations.
Right.
Just be like really aware of your surroundings. Try to pick a part on the train that is less crowded.
And be quiet. As Americans, we can be loud and boisterous. I would say that the quieter you are, and just because that's your time to take in your surroundings, you're not as obvious to people. They're looking for those that are obvious. What's the word I'm trying to use?
Very
why can't I think of it?
Very obvious tourists.
That's
very loud
tourists.
And obnoxious.
Gravy. I couldn't think of a tourist, but
yeah,
that's what they're looking for. It doesn't mean that you're still not going to be an obvious tourist, but if you look like you are aware of your surroundings, I would say they're less likely to come at you. And I've recently heard, in fact, I haven't shared this with Taylor yet, but I've recently heard there's even a new tactic that they're doing where on some of the, I don't know if it's the Metro or the RER, I can't remember now what they said, who said this, but they are dressing up in almost like a uniform type thing, matching pants, shirt, jackets, so they look like they're working for the transportation system to try to help you, and then they get you distracted if they see people. Well, I'm not sure what ticket to get for the Metro. Maybe that's what it was. And so they're helping you, but then their partner's behind you pickpocketing you. So you really just got to be careful. Even if somebody looks like they are professional, you might want to be leery about it, you know?
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about having a travel buddy. I mean, I do think everyone should have a travel buddy. So while she a lot of times was purchasing our tickets, I would be very aware of our surroundings, and usually I would stand the opposite way and just kind of be scanning. And I think that is very leery to people to not want to come up towards you either. But if you are a solo traveler, make sure that all your belongings are on the front of you would be my suggestion. So there's no way of them coming up behind you and trying to take your stuff.
But I wouldn't be afraid about taking public transportation. I mean, if you go on there like you know what you're doing, like it's something you've done before, again, people are less likely to really pay attention to you, really. But then as we got into Paris, we really had a good time, and we really just tried to take in the culture of it. And I would say we didn't hit all of the tourist points because we had not a very long trip, but we also didn't have an itinerary, because I'm one that I want to just take it day by day because things change. Well, of course, you need to buy tickets in advance, and we knew that. And if there was something we wanted to see, we did buy tickets in advance. Otherwise, we just took it one day at a time. And we did make sure if I wanted to see different parts of Paris, I chose to stay in different parts. So we started on this island behind Notre Dame, and then we were able to tour around there, walk to Notre Dame, and then I had us move over to the 5th arrondissement. Is that correct?
I think so.
And we stayed there so we could see parts of that and be closer to things over there.
Yeah.
And I would say, too, that our overall experience was really good. We wanted to really experience even just living there. So we even did take a couple of days and stay at an Airbnb so we could go to one of their markets and buy food and cook and buy their fresh flowers. That was fun. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get Airbnbs. I mean, Airbnbs are a little bit different over there than they would be here, just based off the fact that there are chances that they could cancel on you last minute. We've heard of that. Luckily, that hasn't happened to us. We were pretty lucky to find some good Airbnbs. If you are anybody that has any mobility issues, make sure that you really look for ones that have an elevator.
That is right.
Because
that is right. I'm glad you brought that up, because that even goes along with getting to the Metro. If you have mobility issues, you will have trouble doing the Metro. Yeah. It's all stairs. There's no elevators.
Yeah.
And that's not talked about enough. People need to know you've got to be able to go up and down stairs easily, and whatever suitcases you have. We had too much luggage. I've told my daughter, if we're fortunate to get to go on another trip, I'm only going to do carry-on. It's just not worth it to carry all these suitcases and lug them around. It really takes away from the trip. But I would say, as far as Paris goes, I felt really prepared. I know I hear other stories where people were shocked about certain things, but I wasn't. I went there fully prepared of what to expect. So how about, did you feel the same way?
I would say so, because I do feel like nowadays travel and certain destinations are very much romanticized based off Instagram, based off other YouTube channels. Sometimes they don't give you the real stark reality of what places can be like. But I think since we had this preconceived notion that there could be a chance we may not like this country, maybe people might be rude to us.
That's true.
It might be a dirtier city than what we're used to being in, because we do come from a very small town. Having already kind of that expectation of maybe being disappointed, I think helped us to realize already what the reality was, but we could find the things that we really enjoyed.
And people, one thing, as you're talking about that, I think about, like, if you're not expecting people to smoke, they will smoke outside of a restaurant, not inside that we experience, but you might think, okay, well, outside is fine, and we didn't care. But if you are sensitive to smoke, if you want to sit outside on the patio, it's going to bother you. So you need to know about that. Although, again, I think there's been a rule changed on that just recently, so you may not see it as much.
Yeah, but and then you also will find a lot of people just smoking in general on the streets.
Right, though. And then also I want to say, I want to go back to tickets, because before I went, I told my daughter, I'm not worried if we don't see Notre Dame. I hope I'm saying that right.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. Because, all I seen was people were going online and trying to get a ticket and waiting online and doing all this. And I thought, well, if we don't go, it's fine. It's a beautiful church, but, it's fine. But we got there. We happened just to want to walk up beside it. Mm-hmm. And we saw a few people outside. And this guy was letting them in. And we walked over. It was a security guard. And he said, yeah, no tickets, please go on in.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you necessarily need a ticket, or did we just luck out?
I think what it was is there was a lot of confusion based around it. You can buy a ticket, but I think the ticket is to get in like an express line so you can get in more quickly. Versus
if the line is long.
Yeah. Okay. Versus if you don't have a ticket, you have to wait in, because they're only going to let so many people in at a time.
All right.
It is a really big church. You could probably spend a good hour, maybe 2 hours.
There was
we didn't.
Yeah.
It was packed. There was actually a school field trip going on, which I thought was cute, because it was nun taking around little girls all in their little. It was like Madeline, the. It was like that. They were all in their little berets. It was really cute, but it was very packed. Very early in the morning, because we
should insert some video there of that if we can. But we did enjoy that. But again, we didn't go to Versailles. We didn't go there. We didn't go to the Louvre.
We didn't go to the Louvre.
We went to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Because we did split our trip up. We started in Paris and we wanted to go to London again, and then back to Paris. So we just, and I guess we thought we were going to do things when we came back, and we didn't get to come back. That's a whole nother story. But we might touch on that later. But I do want to include, maybe before we get, I know I don't want to talk too long on this video, but what other highlights should we mention?
Well, so, we covered transportation. Transportation is easy, but think about your mobility. And I would say, before we move on to any other topic, would be the Eurostar. If you do plan on coming into France via Eurostar, or if you're leaving France through the Eurostar, on the Paris side, there is a ramp. So if anybody has large suitcases, if you do have mobility issues, realize that getting through this train station to get to the Eurostar is not easy.
It was the train station Gare du Nord, and we got dropped off there at 5:30 in the morning. We did not see an elevator nearby where we had to be up on the next floor. So, and if there was one, we didn't see it. So we took the stairs up, and again, lugging 2 heavy suitcases. And it was quite a trek to get up there. And to me, going through their security was far worse and took far longer than going through any airport security I had done. And so then once you get up there and get through that, and then you're waiting, and there's like a coffee shop there, we thought, okay, we've done that, the worst part's over. Oh no. Then when you go out on the platform, you have to go down to get on the train. It's like riding an escalator, but it's flat, no stairs, and it's this long ramp.
It's just a ramp.
And getting off of that, again, if you have mobility issues, you're going to have problems. And I can't believe nobody's ever talked about that. I mean, when I got off, I just about landed on my face. You almost
fell. Luckily, there was a worker there to help you.
They went to catch me, and I just thought, if I had known this, I don't know. I didn't even want to take the train at all anyway, because I don't like water. The thought of it, like taking that Eurostar, just honestly, I had fear, but it was fine. The fears I had were unfounded. It was totally fine, easy to take, but getting there through the train station was a lot harder than what I anticipated.
It was very hard. I had the heavier of the suitcases, and I literally almost just like a bowling ball took everybody out down it, because my suitcase was so heavy pushing me down. they don't
A
talk
mistake.
about it. So just be very aware
Yeah.
of that.
So then that, and I would say, I know we didn't highlight a lot because, Paris really felt easy. I mean, because
it's a very walkable city.
Very walkable city. I would say that getting food was easy. It wasn't hard to order. And everybody was so friendly. They spoke English. They knew right away that we were obviously not from there. They appreciated us saying hello or goodbye and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were very helpful.
Very talkative too. Like they were just like really warm and friendly.
Very engaging.
Yeah, very engaging. They wanted to know where we were from and all that. So we never really had, I think maybe we encountered maybe one, what I would call a rude waiter, but he wasn't outwardly rude.
He was more trying to be funny.
Almost
as if you didn't know any better, maybe he was making fun of people from the U.S., maybe.
Yeah.
But we took it all in stride. We were so happy to be there. We just had a really good time. So I would say if you have any concerns, don't. Just go, have fun, and just be aware of your surroundings. And so then in our next video, I do think we should probably wrap this up so people aren't bored to death. But we want to talk about how she lost her passport and why we didn't get to go back to Paris on that trip.
Are we going to talk about it now or next video?
No, that's the next video. How she lost it, what we had to do. And
yeah, because I wish I would have known before losing my passport what to do, but I don't think anybody really looks that up. So
who would have thought?
Stay tuned for the next video on what to do if you lose your passport while in a foreign country.
And if you have any questions about our experience there in Paris and something that you would like us to cover, let us know. Drop a comment down, and otherwise we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.